Hi, welcome to the Legislators Lounge. I'm Jim Webb, the host of the show. My co-host is Brian Chericello. Today with us we have two special guests, Joe Plaia and Pat Conway. What we're going to do today is a little different than our previous shows. We're going to do a debate format. These two people are candidates for the Rockingham County Attorney's Office.
And welcome. We appreciate you coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start with a little bit of background so the general public will know a little bit about you first.
Sure.
And who wants to start first?
Pat?
I'll go first.
Pat? Okay, go ahead, Pat.
Hi, everybody. My name is Patricia Conway, and I'm running for Rockingham County Attorney. You may not recognize my face, but I've had the honor and privilege of serving you as an assistant Rockingham County Attorney for over a decade now. And I've worked hard to obtain justice for citizens in this county for almost 16 years.
Hello, everybody. First, thanks for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the citizens of Derry in the area. I am Joe Plaia. I'm running for Rockingham County Attorney, and currently I am a private criminal defense lawyer in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I am also the Chief Hearings Officer for the New Hampshire Liquor Commission, which is just another term for a judge, really. Before that, I prosecuted and defended cases in Rockingham County as a public servant, and before that, I was a law enforcement officer in the United States Marine Corps.
Right.
Thank you.
You want me to start the first question?
If you'd like.
Okay. What I'd like to do is get a general sense of management style. You know, are you the type that is more hands-on, or are you the type that likes to delegate to people? And I'll start with you, Joe, on this one.
Sure. Management style, I think both is needed. Like I said, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I served as a non-commissioned officer, and I was a squad leader in a military police unit. Without a doubt, you absolutely have to lead by example. So you do have to be hands-on and set an example for the people that you supervise. It was interesting at that time. I had the opportunity to be brought into a platoon that was in a situation like the Rockingham County Attorney's Office. It was a platoon that was decimated because they were investigated by NCIS, Naval Investigative Services. And almost the entire platoon was arrested and court-martialed for reasons that would take too long to discuss here. But from the watch commander, which would be akin to a shift commander, right down. So myself and some other leaders were brought in to be a part of a leadership team to restore credibility to our military police unit, in particular to that platoon. And we did so by funneling in some Marines from other platoons and by bringing up new Marines just coming from the police academy. So I am not a stranger to a situation like this. I've successfully been through it before. But I also do believe you need to have people that you can delegate some authority to. Rockingham County Attorney's Office is 18 lawyers, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think 35 employees total, or approximately, and quite a big budget, so there's a lot of responsibilities to handle. But I do believe, one, you got to try some cases. Two, you need accountability, so you do need some hands-on, but you do need good people, and to surround yourself with good people and not pretend that you're the guy that knows everything. We for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say that would be my basic management style, to manage lawyers. Lead by example, and go ahead and take care of the administrative stuff and the higher stuff, and meeting with leaders in the county delegation and the county commissioner's office. Myself, I certainly wouldn't delegate that. I think that I would have to have a good rapport with all the police chiefs, myself, heads of the sheriff's department, heads of the Department of Corrections, heads of any alternative sentencing programs. I mean, these meetings need to be held and conducted by the county attorney himself. But then you would definitely want to delegate some authorities to your deputy and some of your other more senior attorneys in the county. I think that's about it.
Okay. And Pat?
We do have 39 employees at the Rockingham County Attorney's Office, and as far as leadership style goes, I have been a lead attorney at the County Attorney's Office now for 11 years, and in that capacity I have supervised other assistant county attorneys and support staff in the office. And I'll admit that at first when I became a supervisor, it was a little tough for me to give up some control, but I learned that delegation is an important thing. I also do lead by example. I prosecute some of the most serious felony level offenses in Rockingham County. I try a large amount of cases, and I'm successful in trying those cases. And I also delegate a number of cases to the attorneys that I supervise, and I mentor them and make sure that they understand exactly what they need to do in order to successfully prosecute a case. Additionally, as lead prosecutor, I do meet with police departments periodically in order to foster good working relationships and to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of how the cases are handled. So the answer to that question is I think you have to lead by example. You do have to handle those cases yourself, try those cases yourself, but you also need to delegate some authority to other people so that you'll have time to take care of the administrative duties, such as in my capacity now, dealing with other police departments and state agencies.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're going to need this. All right, so I'm going to ask, I might as well start with you, Pat, since we're on you now. How long have you been practicing law, and why did you decide to become an attorney?
I've been practicing law for almost 18 years now. I was admitted into the bar in 1997. I went to law school because I really enjoyed studying the law. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed criminal law more than anything else when I was in undergraduate school. So I went to law school. I didn't necessarily know at that point that I wanted to be a prosecutor. One of the things that I enjoyed doing is speaking with people, advocating for my position, and so I went to law school. Once I went to law school, I interned at the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office and learned from a lot of younger assistant district attorneys, and it was there that I really found my true passion, and I understood what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I continued on that path. After interning there, I interned at the Rockingham County Attorney's Office underneath County Attorney William Hart. And it was at that point that I was able to try my first case in front of a jury, and I was victorious. I absolutely loved it. I felt that we made a difference as prosecutors. I continue to feel that way, and that's what I do now. I'm passionate about the work. I believe in what we do. I believe in justice.
Joe?
Okay. Well, I became an attorney. I've been practicing as a member of the bar since 2008. And for 2 years before that, I practiced as a student attorney in the state. So since 2006, which I guess is about 8 years. And the reason I became an attorney, it really started out as I was standing a patrol and a gate as a military policeman at Marine Corps Air Station Yuma. I really did enjoy being a part of law enforcement. I arrested people for drug-related offenses, for assaults, for DUIs, domestic violence cases. But as I grew in my role as a leader in the platoon, I realized that that wasn't enough at that level. So it's actually, without being able to cross over to Criminal Investigation Division, that's when I decided to leave the Marine Corps. I was honorably discharged, and I immediately started studying criminal justice here in New Hampshire at Franklin Pierce College. It was during those cases, during those classes, when we started taking on criminal law and constitutional law and went beyond the policing classes, that I really developed the stern interest in becoming not just an attorney, but a prosecutor, and knew that someday I wanted to be the district attorney. That's the term I knew back then. That's what we've all heard, but here we call it county attorney in New Hampshire. So I transferred to John Jay College of Criminal Justice because they had a law in the courts focus that you could do, and not just a policing or corrections focus. And through that, I got some legal experience as a paralegal in New York City. I came back to New Hampshire after getting my degree in criminal justice, focused on criminal law in law school. Knew I wanted to be a prosecutor. The opportunities weren't there when I finished law school, so I became a public defender in Rockingham County and gained a lot of great experience. I've heard Pat talk about this before. They have an amazing training program for entry-level attorneys. It's a statewide program, and it's done very well. After that, I did get the opportunity to prosecute. I prosecuted for the state police. So this is my passion. It is why I became an attorney and why I'm running for Rockingham County Attorney.
Great, thank you. My question is going to be on keeping and retaining some of the county attorneys that we have. We've heard in the past that some attorneys have left for various reasons, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are on keeping and retaining the best county attorneys if you're to be elected. And I guess we'll start with Joe this time.
Okay. Just wanted to bring a note that I had on that because I did a little homework on this for Rockingham County. I think it's very important that we do keep and retain attorneys. You're not going to retain all of them because some of them do just go into public service because they know they're going to get a vast majority of their trial experience there, and they'll get hired on by private practice after, and they'll go chase the big bucks, whether it be in criminal law or whether it be in corporate law or whatever else. But I think it's key. In Rockingham County, I think we have lost attorneys, and I know the argument's been made due to the salary at the mid-level when they hit years 4, 5, and 6. But if you look at the salaries, they're not that far off. They are a little bit higher in Hillsborough, but they're not that far off. But it should be pointed out that over the last 5 years of the attorneys that have left, which is 10 of them, I believe, only 2 went to Hillsborough. Others went to Allenstown Police Department, Concord Police Department, Deerfield Police Department. 2 went to Stratford County, which pays significantly less than Rockingham County. And 2 went to the AGs, and the AGs are paying less now as well. So I don't think retaining it is just about the numbers. People don't go into this who want to do this for a career. Pat's not doing this because she wants to be rich. I don't want to go back into public service because I want to be rich. We do it because we're passionate about it. Right. So those attorneys you're going to retain as long as you give them the proper work environment. I know the ones that we lost to Allenstown, Stratford, I know Mike Zano left because of both pay and because of the work environment. In Rockingham County, the majority of these attorneys left because of the work environment. You have to have like we both talked about, you have to lead by example. We both know that County Attorney Reams did not do that. He was not in the trenches with his assistant county attorneys trying cases. You have to create a work environment that's not hostile. You have to foster these people and train them. I agree with one thing Pat said from the beginning. Statewide training program for prosecutors would be huge in boosting their confidence and getting mentor relationships between senior attorneys and junior attorneys. So yes, the pay has to be good and it has to be competitive. No doubt about it. You don't want to be a breeding ground to send them off to Hillsborough like I've heard you guys say in the past. But you do have to keep work fun. You have to keep great relationships. You don't want pockets of these people don't like these others and these people don't like those others, because if it's an environment like that, it's going to be an office that doesn't succeed. So I think leading by example, again, creating a good, positive work environment, and keeping a competitive salary structure will definitely retain the attorneys that want to do this in Rockingham County.
All right. Pat?
I think in order to keep the prosecutors that start in our office, we need to pay them competitively. We also, the county attorney needs to treat people equally and fairly, and there does need to be a good working environment. In terms of the attorneys that have left the office, I'm sure that some left because they weren't happy, but there were many attorneys that left because of the pay. And my research has shown that in terms of the pay scale, when an attorney or an assistant county attorney is hired in our office, they start at around $50,000. And that is a very competitive salary on the first year. But as Joe mentioned, in years 4, 5, and 6, at some point, Hillsborough County attorneys will be making about $10,000 more than the assistant Rockingham County attorneys. And the Attorney General's office also has the opportunity to bump up essentially the money that you're making as a prosecutor. So that is definitely one of the problems. Additionally, since the allegations against Jim Reams came out, since he was pulled out of office, and we've essentially been without a county attorney and a deputy county attorney for a long time now, that has definitely caused some issues because there's no one really driving the ship, so to speak. But I do agree, you need to lead by example. You need to get down in the courtroom with the prosecutors, and you need to treat people equally and fairly. And if you do that and you pay them equally as other prosecutors' offices pay them, then you're going to keep those people.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, I will start with you, Pat, on this one. My question is that the county attorney is responsible for the budget and the costs that are associated with the county attorney's office and putting together and managing money. Could you tell the viewers or us and the viewers what your experience is with regards to budget?
Sure.
Stuff?
The county attorney is responsible for maintaining and overseeing a budget of just over $3 million. 2/3 of that budget you can't really control it too much because it's payroll, it's benefits, and things of that nature. In terms of budgeting, I have reviewed the budget. I have been involved in meetings between the county attorney, the deputy county attorney, and other membership and other people who are members of the leadership team, meaning myself and the other two lead prosecutors, about the budget, about what things we think we can cut or what things we can't cut. And additionally, my experience in the office prosecuting cases in this particular county, I know what we need. I know what prosecutors need to be successful in prosecuting, to be successful in keeping the criminals and the defendants off the street. I understand what we need. I understand maybe what we don't need. I understand what kind of money we should be paying an expert witness, for instance, when we need an expert witness in a case, and I know what type of money we shouldn't be paying expert witnesses. So although I haven't presented a budget to the commission or to the delegation for their approval, I've certainly been involved in looking at it and giving an opinion in terms of what I think the budget should encompass and what types of things that we could maybe strike or eliminate from the budget.
Well, administratively, I do have some experience with budgeting. I have my own business, my own law practice. I'm responsible for deciding on office supplies. I'm responsible for deciding on how much money to put here and where. It's really simple, though, I will admit, when you're just a single practice attorney. So in that sense, that part of it's simple. But I do a similar job to what you gentlemen do sitting on the county delegation and what the commissioners do when you decide to approve budgets. And I'm a member of 2 boards of directors. And one of them is One Sky Community Services that services the developmentally disabled in my area. In that capacity, I serve on the board, but I also chair the personnel committee. And we are also responsible for making personnel decisions with regard to the executive director all the way down to employees if any issues come up. We're also responsible for reviewing the executive director's performance and making sure that that gets completed. The other thing I do is I approve, along with the rest of the board, the budgets that come through. I do the same thing with New Hampshire Legal Assistance. I'm on the board of directors for that, and I'm also on that personnel committee. So my administrative experience dealing with budgets has grown over the last couple of years, being able to do that. Further, I think it's the responsibility of the county attorney to look at that budget and see where he can save the county taxpayers' money, he or she. We can do this in a lot of different ways. I reviewed the budgets 2 years ago when I ran for county attorney and brought this to the attention of voters. It was, I think, a $20,000 travel expense budget that the county attorney's office had compared to a $5,000 expense that Hillsborough had. And Hillsborough is largest county attorney's office in the state. In addition, the office supply budget dwarfed Hillsborough County Attorney's Office budget. Again, they have many more employees than we do. So I was trying to figure out why those things were, but didn't get an answer. The other thing we can do to work the budget is we can bring the programs that other counties have that save them millions of dollars every year. Stratford County has definitely the laundry list of alternative sentencing programs. They invest around $2 million in them. They save over $11 million in incarceration costs alone. In the meantime, our jail is at maximum capacity, and I'm sure you gentlemen know, we're spending over $1 million a year to Hillsborough to house our overflow, just because we're not operating in an efficient manner. So those are some of the things that I think the county attorney can do to change the budgeting problems in the county.
Great. I want to talk a little bit about the heroin issue. I know that in the past, I mean, the last year and a half, we see it more prevalent in the newspapers that heroin has been a major issue. So as county attorney, how would you take the lead on trying to combat, people with the heroin problem, and what can the county attorney's office do?
Sure.
I'll start with Joe this time.
Okay. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to realize that heroin is, like many other forms of drugs, it's an addiction problem. And you can't just jail your way out of a drug problem or out of a mental health issue. The majority of the people that are using heroin and other drugs or abusing alcohol are mentally ill. The drug court that operates in Stratford County, over a 5-year longitudinal study, has a 10% recidivism rate. 90% of the offenders that graduate are not re-offending again. I mean, this saves money, and it reduces crime. And it ensures that they don't graduate to harsher crimes down the road. It's the same thing with the diversion programs for first-time drug offenders. Same thing for pretrial services. You want to have people in pretrial services. But the big thing is the community outreach and working together with different agencies. We need to really go after the dealers, first of all. We need to refocus on dealers and those bringing this into our state, into our county. And as you may have just recently read, they've determined Rockingham County is the pipeline. So it's southern New Hampshire is declared a high traffic area. That is one big thing, but the next big thing is treatment. It really is. And when I say treatment, I don't mean not hold somebody accountable for their actions. Look at what the Federal Register does. Simple possession is a misdemeanor up and down, no matter what drug you're using. We would be able to focus our resources a lot better if we weren't wasting so much time and money worried about simple possession. I heard your earlier show with the other candidates. I do believe there's a big difference between that and somebody who breaks into a home to try to steal and feed their addiction. And I agree with what Pat said on that program, actually. It was there was like 3 different answers. Pat's answer was, you need to deal with that. That person needs to do some jail time. There needs to be punishment. But there also needs to be rehabilitation. And Stratford County is a perfect model of that. They have a therapeutic community program where somebody with a drug addiction who maybe commits a more serious crime is going to go into jail. They're going to receive a 12-month sentence, but they're also going to receive treatment while they're in. And if they successfully complete the program, they might do a step down in 6 and get work release and electronic monitoring and have to be drug tested and have to get a job. But they're going to get the drug treatment they need, the mental health counseling they need. They're also going to get the life skills they need. There's decision-making classes that they go through so they don't make the wrong choices, they make the right choices. The combination of alternative sentencing with punishment when it's appropriate is what we need to do, not only to reduce crime, but to save millions and millions of dollars every year.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Well, in order to deal with the heroin issue, we have to continue to make arrests. We have to continue to prosecute these folks, whether it's possession or sale or possession with intent to sell. But rehabilitation is a big piece of dealing with that problem. And currently, we do have drug court in Rockingham County. It's been in existence for about 3 years. I have heard some statistics with regard to Stratford County, but it's important to remember. I think that those statistics have to do with people who have graduated from the program. Those statistics don't deal with the people who have been kicked out of the program for whatever reason. But I do support drug court, and I support it because I think nationally the statistics show that it will reduce crime and recidivism in the long run. And I would also advocate for mental health courts, for the STAR program, which is a program that we have now currently in Rockingham County. It's a program that we have at the jail. It is similar to a 28-day treatment program where the person can get a 12-month stand committed sentence at the jail and be recommended into this program. They can get counseling with regard to their drug or alcohol issue, and when they complete the program, there are recommendations made by a LADAC, and they can be released into the community on a bracelet if the Department of Corrections feels that that is appropriate and they get the county attorney's office approval. And then there's also day reporting. So I would advocate for that program. I'd advocate for drug court, but I also advocate for putting sellers, people who are profiting from others' misery, selling heroin, they need to be in state prison, no doubt about it. They're selling drugs to our kids, our loved ones, and they're hurting our community, and those people need to go to state prison.
Thank you.
Can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
And I agree with Pat wholeheartedly, and I have a personal issue with that. I do agree that the heroin dealers really do need to go to state prison. I worked my way through law school at a restaurant in Portsmouth, and I won't say which one it is, but their executive chef just died from a heroin overdose the other night. This was a guy that was functional, went to work every day, supervised his employees, everybody loved him, he's liked in the community. You never know who it's going to hit.
Right.
And, she's absolutely right. We really do need to take out the dealers and be really, really hard on them.
Do you have anything to add to that, Pat, since we gave him a little extra time?
No, I think we've all been touched by drug addiction, and I think it's sad that in the state of New Hampshire, the statistics show that we are second to last in the nation for providing services to drug addicts and alcoholics, and that's pretty sad. And that's really beyond the job scope of the county attorney. We can certainly advocate for those things and encourage the community to come up with more programs and counseling for these people, but unless we have community buy-in and more programs, we can advocate for drug court, we can sentence people to drug court, but we need more facilities where we can send these people and more facilities who will accept these people on a sliding scale.
All right, we probably got time for just about 2 more questions, I think.
Actually, they gave me the 5 minutes, so maybe one more quick question, and then we can wrap it up. Unless we want to go over a little bit.
If you don't mind going over a little.
I don't mind.
All right, well, we'll go with this one because I wanted to get this one. If you're, so we might as well start with Pat. If you're elected county attorney, will you be involved with as the lead attorney on some of these high-profile cases, or will you be supervisor capacity only?
If I'm elected county attorney, I will continue to prosecute some cases in court. Whether they're high-profile cases or not remains to be seen. If it's an important case, I'd love to be involved in that case, and I'd love to show the assistant county attorneys that work for me that I'm capable of doing that. Again, to lead by example. I think it's important for the county attorney to continue to prosecute cases. However, I understand and recognize that as county attorney, I would have an enormous amount of administrative responsibility, and it's not possible for me to maintain the type of caseload that I have now. But I do think it's important for the county attorney to prosecute some cases so that he or she can stay in tune with what's going on in court. What types of sentences are the judges handing out these days? What types of defenses is the defense bar coming up with these days? Because it can change on a month-to-month basis, as Joe knows. So I think it's important for the county attorney to be involved in cases and to try cases in court.
Joe?
I agree 100%. I think we've been both saying from the beginning, in order to be an effective leader, you have to be able to lead by example. You have to be in the trenches doing the same work that you're asking the people that work for you do. You just have to do it. Would I be able to handle a caseload like Pat does right now, or like I handled when I was a public defender or a state police prosecutor? No, absolutely not. you wouldn't be effective on the cases you are handling, and you wouldn't be effective in supervising your attorneys or handling the other administrative duties of the office. But you do have to try cases. Would they be the highest, most profile cases, if appropriate, and it's not going to take away too much of my time from the administrative duties? Absolutely. That might be a time maybe where I'm handling one case as opposed to having a caseload of 5 or 10. I think both of us in that capacity, or anybody who is going to be in that office, will have to go in there and play it by ear and see how much of the duties take you. I can tell you that my first priority as county attorney is to keep the county safe. And the second priority is what we've been talking about with alternative sentencing programs. I plan on spending a lot of time bringing and convincing you as the county delegation to bring these programs to the county, and I don't plan on doing that myself. I've met with the directors of the programs in Merrimack and Stratford counties. I've met with some of the county delegates over there and made sure that I sat down and talked with other Republican delegates who have voted to fund the programs, who know they work, and who promised me they would come over and help me convince my Republican delegation that these things work and will save you millions and millions of tax dollars every year.
Right. All right, so
wrap it up.
we both appreciate you coming onto the show. It went pretty quick, so we're going to give you an opportunity, maybe a minute, to close for a closing statement. And I'm going to start with Joe, since Pat opened to begin with.
Yeah, I'd like to add in there something that you can tell the viewers on why you think you'd be a better candidate for the job than each other.
Okay. Well, I would ask for your vote on November 4th because I've had 20 years as a criminal justice professional. I haven't just seen the criminal justice system from a prosecutor's point of view. I've seen it from a law enforcement point of view. And the chief law enforcement officer of the county should have that point of view. As a defense attorney, as a prosecutor, and as a judge. So I bring a balanced approach to the county attorney's office, and I truly do understand the word justice. And that is, first and foremost, the name of the game with being county attorney. Secondly, I have the administrative, budget, personnel experience to bring to the table. I've been a leader of Marines, so I do know how to lead people, lead by example, and that is the best management training you could possibly have. You can either vote for a change in the makeup of the county attorney's office, a change in the way they've been doing business over the last 16 years under Reams, or you can continue to have things go the way they've been going. I asked for your vote on November 4th. I ran 2 years ago. I brought all these issues to the table 2 years ago, and I'm back again asking you for your vote now. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat.
I would ask for your vote and your support on November 4th. You know, at times it feels like my opponent and my opponents in the primary were launching a campaign against Jim Reams, but last time I checked, Jim Reams was not on the ballot. I am. I'm a different person. I would run the office differently. While I was a lead prosecutor and I've also supervised assistant county attorneys for 11 years, I certainly wasn't the head honcho, so to speak. I did not get to make the final decision in terms of some of the things that went on in that office or in terms of alternative sentencing programs. However, I am a strong advocate of those programs. I am the most qualified person for this position because I have been doing this for almost 16 years now. I have been prosecuting the most serious, violent felony level offenses in the county for 11 years, and that's what the county attorney does. The county attorney is responsible for prosecuting the felony level offenses at the Superior Court level and for trying cases. That's what I have been doing. Not only have I been doing that successfully, but I have also been supervising and directing other staff in the office, lawyers, and support staff in the office for 11 years now, and I've also been a liaison between my office and about 20 different police departments over the last 11 years successfully. Let's face it, folks, when the county attorney takes this job, the first day on the job, the county attorney will be faced with a decision that will be life-altering for a victim of crime or for a defendant. And I'm prepared to make those decisions. I'm prepared to make those decisions because I've done it for the last 11 years now. On the other hand, my opponent has been a lawyer for 6 years. He has little to no jury trial experience, and to my knowledge, he has never prosecuted a felony level offense at the Superior Court level. I'm the most qualified person for the position, and I'd ask for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. This has been the Legislators Lounge. This episode and all our episodes can be found on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search the Legislators Lounge. Also, you can find us on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and search Legislators Lounge, you'll find us. We have a website, www.derrylounge.com. We try to get our shows up there when we can, but we're kind of busy. So once again, thank you for watching, and thank you for participating.
Thank you.